Hey everybody, this is Dan for GemmyD on Cars. It is another scorching hot day here in Mechanicsburg. We're taking a look at a practical family, high school age, we'll say, hatchback. This is the 11th generation 2022 Honda Civic. This is a hatchback. There is also the sedan and the coupe coming. There's also an SI version. There's going to be a Type R version of this. Now, this is one of the most successful Japanese, economy cars of all time. And I think for this generation, the 11th generation, this car's been around since 1973. I think this might be the best looking one. Now, if I'm completely honest, the 10th generation hatchback I thought was really ugly looking. It just was too much going on, lots of chrome everywhere. But now for this generation, they have smoothed everything out. I think it's actually a really gorgeous car. I like the direction that Honda is going lately. They've redone the Civic, the HR-V, and the CR-V. They're three big hitters. The Accord redesign is coming out soon, but this thing is very good looking. So let's take a look at a Honda Civic. Now this car has a couple options for engines. This one has the 1.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder, 180 horsepower, about 177 foot-pounds of torque. That'll get you 0 to 60 about 7.5 seconds, which is sort of typical, maybe a little bit slower than the competition. Now in my mind, there's pretty much two cars that are the main competition for this. That would be the Mazda 3 hatchback and the Toyota Corolla XSE. That's the hatchback version. Now before this car came out, I'd say hands down I'd pick the Mazda 3 over the Toyota and the Honda, but now that this generation's come out with the design so much better looking, I think this is going to be a tough fight to see who would be the best in the family car, economy segment. Now I borrowed this from my neighbor Cortez. He's going into senior in high school. This is his car. His family's been a Honda family for a while. His parents moved on a little bit from that, but this is his car. This is a perfect car for a high school kid as far as practicality and safety features. All right, so let's talk about the design. Now, like I said before, I thought the 10th generation Honda Civic was pretty ugly. There just was too much going on. This has way more cleaner lines, and that car had sort of like a big chrome fixture going across the front there, but this just looks very smoothed out. Now there's 4 trims for the new Civics. There's Sport, EX, Touring, and Limited, and this one is a Sport. Now you can actually get a manual transmission in the higher trims, but this one does not have it. This is a CVT transmission, but just look at the lines of this. Now this little kink in the back there sort of harkens to the Accord design. I just think it looks good. Now the sedan I think is equally as good looking as this hatchback, but I think this gets the nod a little bit just because of the extra practicality with the hatchback. Now one thing I wanted to mention about the front, now the grills are different for the different trims. Now this Sport trim has like these sort of hexagons in the grill, and the grill just sort of slopes down a little bit more than the earlier ones. But yeah, now it just has a super clean design. There's your LEDs right there. It just looks really good. It's not too fussy. It's just a simple, clean design. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again because that's exactly what it is. Now with the Sport, you get blacked out 18-inch wheels. You get the black on the mirror caps, but just going back, I love how the trim around here is black as well. Nobody should do chrome anymore. That's just a thing of the past. So moving around to the back, you've got some clean looking taillights. I saw somebody said they almost look like lobster claws right there. Now this diffuser here, it gives me sort of, the exhaust tips are not there, but it gets sort of like an Audi R8 V10 kind of vibe, just how it bumps up right there. You got a nice little sort of faux diffuser right there, which I think it's cool. That's a nice little risk that you can take for design. Just put something there sporty. This is the sporty trim. You've got a light bar that goes all the way across the back. Now the glass for the hatch goes way further down than the sedan, obviously because it is a sedan. But this white paint looks pretty fantastic too. You can see sort of like the flecks in the sun. So they knocked it out of the park with the design. I really haven't done a Honda like this in a while. I did a white Accord last year, but that was sort of modified to sort of ridiculous ends. But Honda, good job. you are continuing your hot streak. As much as Mazda had their hot streak like 5 years ago that they've sort of continued it, Honda is really killing it right now with the CR-V, with the HR-V, and now this Civic. I mean, this car has been around forever. It's been a staple for American, economy cars. And I'll say it again, this is the perfect car for a high school senior like Cortez. So let's take a look at the motor. Okay, let's talk power plant. Now this is the pretty small but still punchy and peppy. This is a 1.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder, about 180 horsepower, 177 foot-pounds of torque. You can also get a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder, but that's way down on power. That's something like 138 horsepower. I think this is the right way to go. Smaller engine, forced induction, I think is the way to go. This looks so clean. I mean, this is a brand new car. He just got this last week, and that's just a tiny little motor in there, but certainly well enough for what this car is going to be used for. A high school kid, driving around with his friends, going back and forth to school and work. But yeah, this is the 1.5 liter 4-cylinder. Great choice for this segment. I also like the 2-liter, but this 1.5 liter turbo I think is the better option. So all right, let's take a look at the trunk and all its practicality. All right, let's take a look at the trunk here. Now if you click one button right there, gonna go up. Now this is where the practicality will be the best. I mean, this is just fantastic. I always love how Honda has this sideways thing right there. Now, the only generation of the last Honda Civic that I drove was the Type R, which is like the balls to the wall, track special. Now this is more your economy, but this is just a cool little Honda thing I like, just to cover up your stuff in the back. That's a nice little touch. Now, I will flash on the screen how this space back here compares with like a Mazda 3 and a Toyota Corolla, but this is just amazing for all your stuff. This adds to the practicality of the car a little bit more than a sedan. I mean, this would definitely have more space, but I really like these sort of pull handles down. You can go like that. I mean, Honda knows what they're doing. I think the design is great on this car. So let's continue the design updates when looking at the interior. All right, going on the inside of the Civic. Now, this is where the design continues to be completely great, because I just really love how they sort of cleaned up everything in here. I love this sort of honeycomb look of the vents. There's the vents right there, 1, 2, and these just have a really solid feel to them. I really like the design. I don't think this would be that hard to clean it. Now, you do have a fixed screen up top there, and it is not that far away. This is just a touch screen. You don't have any other click wheel or anything down here. So let's just give it a start. Number 1, because it is 1,000,000 degrees out. Now this feels like any typical Honda of late, and I haven't really reviewed that many Hondas, to be honest, but I really like what they've done in here with the honeycombs, number 1, first and foremost. But all these buttons have a solid feel to them, just have a nice little click to them. Everything is nicely laid out here. I like how you have these separate controls for the HVAC compared to up here. Now, Honda listened also. They still have the physical volume knob, and the main screen and all the stuff that you want to get to was down on the bottom. So if you just hit menu, media, when you connect your phone, radio, phone. Don't have a navigation system. That's okay in a car like this. I mean, most people use their phones anyway. Now, nice simple design of the layout of the dash right here. You have your tachometer on the left, your speedometer on the right. You have stuff in the middle. You can go over a couple different things on the left-hand screen. Now this will search, you can search stuff on the main screen, but if you go to home, you can change a couple different things on the screen right there. Range and fuel, warnings, volume, let's see, source. You can listen to your radio on the side there. And now we do have 3 drive modes. We have normal, sport, and econ, which maximizes your fuel economy. Honda always does. I think it has a blue look, but we'll go back into normal. Now, when I drove over here, I was in sport. Just sort of sharpens up the throttle, holds onto the gear a little bit, but we'll keep it in normal. Now down here, I don't even know what you call this texture, but it feels very nice to the touch. I like this soft touch plastic up here. Everything feels very nice. I mean, this is a very quality interior for a car that is, hovering sort of around $30,000. Honda, very good job with all the materials. I'm okay with this black cloth interior. Got a nice little sort of gray stitching going down the middle, and I do have a little bit of stitching on the doors. I mean, yeah, you do not have a sunroof here. I think that might be the top trim, but that's okay. Like I said, this is a high school kid's car, more than adequate for many other things. Yeah, so I'm impressed with what Honda's doing. I really think Mazda has been an industry leader in the interior game lately, but Honda's doing a very good job. So let's take a look at the back seat. All right, let's test out the back seat now. I had the seat where I was sitting. I am 6 feet tall. Yeah, this is decent. I guarantee you this has got to be the biggest back seat of the class. I mean, I have a couple inches on my legs right here. Fits pretty good. And these seats are pretty comfortable. Now, obviously, you can fit 3 people back here. My stuff is always in the way. I think I felt the same way when I was reviewing that Honda Accord, that the back seat was just absolutely huge. I feel like that's a hallmark for Honda. I feel like their back seat space is always really, really big. I mean, again, adds to the practicality of this car. I think this could even, I mean, I said this is going to be a high school kid's car. I think this could be a perfect car for somebody, you know, just getting out of college or in college or just starting up a family. You could definitely fit your kids back here, stuff in the back, more than enough space in the back. That is a highlight of this car. The interior design is great, but also the space in the back seat and the trunk is fantastic. I really like what Honda is doing. I've been a Mazda guy for a while, but Honda is slowly climbing up the rankings to be, you know, they've always been a solid company in America and Japan. So I am liking what they are doing. All right, so this has been just a quick walk around review of a 2022 Honda Civic hatchback. I'm very impressed with this car inside and out. I feel like all the cars that I've reviewed lately have been seriously awesome design inside and out. I just did that Lexus LC500. That's a whole different type of car. But Honda, I think, has grown up in the last few years. The design team has done a fantastic job with all the new cars that are coming out. And I feel like for the next few years, Honda is going to continue to be at the top of the rankings for mid-size sedans, family sedans, and this is no exception. So thanks to Cortez and Dave and Christy for letting me take a look at this Honda. Now it comes to a value proposition and a personal preference. I think you can't do any wrong in this segment with the Civic or the Mazda 3 hatchback or the Toyota Corolla. They're all solid cars. I mean, they've sold billions of these things. I think this might be the best one as far as the overall package. I think the Mazda design, just as far as the aesthetics, looks a little bit better, but I think this might be the best all-around car in the segment just because of the practicality and the size to go along with the newly updated design. So Honda, way to go. If you like videos like this and want to see more of them, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now we're going to get this thing on the road and see how it actually drives as a car. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at GemmyD on Cars. I'll see you on the next one. See ya.